can see that. Yeah. So this is what you get on the council's website when you go to waterfordcouncil.ie/LEP, and down here then you have apply here. This is the guidelines for the scheme, and then you have your Irish application form here and the guidelines in Irish as well, if you want to apply in Irish. And so when you click apply, so this is what you're created with. Then with this on the submit form, you get all the basically an overview of the program, the terms and conditions. There is a link to the guidelines again here to read, and you have a link to the LECP, the Local Economic Community Plan here, links out. So I have the draft started, but you would have here, you'll have apply here. So you just go into it. The form is very user friendly. You can go back to it, save it, go back to it later. So what you have is you'll have all the questions here that you've answered on the left hand side: name, group, village area, address, area code. And then, oh, sorry, 1 second. That's not shared. Another one. Can you see that one? Yeah. Sorry about that. So I'll just go back here. Didn't realize that wasn't sharing. So when you go in on the form, you get on the left hand side, you'll have all the questions that you've answered. As I said, I have a draft here, so you can click, you'll see what you've entered here, and it will tell you then any questions that you haven't answered that maybe you required, and just go through. As I said, you can save and go back to it later, save and quit. It'll save everything. You can log back in later on. And so just click through a few there. This one with the error code, this is for just for mapping purposes as well. So when you put in the error code here, it just map where the location is, because the department do look for some data relating to like where the applications relate to, and so it's just for our for us to be able to map them and show the department where the funds are going to. If you click on, like, if you don't have an error code, just click on the area. But if you just enter an error code here, it will actually bring it up for you. So just go through there now. So if you like, not all questions are required, but like if you have websites, the year the group is established, charity numbers, tax reference numbers if applicable, they're all there now. Contact name, then we will need contact name, role in the group, phone numbers, and then an alternative contact name and email address as well, just to ensure that if anything happens that we have an alternative contact address. Type of organisation, then we have charity, community group, company limited by guarantee, or other. So if you put in other, then it comes up as an option then to put in. Then, so as your organisation registered with the PPN, you're required, it's a requirement of the LEP that we have, that everybody is registered with the PPN. So when you when you say yes, then it'll ask you for your PPN number. Okay. Now, if you haven't registered with the PPN, I advise you to contact Muriel or Walter as soon as possible to get that process started. As I said, then there is just look for brief details, descriptions of your organisation, the structure, meetings, like that. Are you affiliated with any local, regional, or national organisation? links with any other group or organization in your area. And then it will look for section 2 then is the project details. So what you're looking for, funding for, so accessibility improvements, CCTV equipment, community centre maintenance, refurbishment. That they're like these are all straight off the government, the department application form. So promotional materials is one, safety equipment, sports equipment, training equipment. So you can click, it's multiple choice there. You don't have to, you can have more than one selected. As I say, if you click other, then it'll actually give you an option then to put in some whatever else you're wanting. Then you have to give a breakdown of your application. So what you're applying to buy. So we just put in so you just have €1,000, say test, and then promotional materials, €500. It'll tot it up at the bottom then for you. So the total in this application at the moment is 1,500. What's the purpose of the grant? Just have to give a max of 10 words of what you're going to use the grant for. Then we have the next question, if you want to elaborate on that to a maximum of 50 words. And these are all in line with the department's application form as well, where they've limited the amount that you can actually say. So we've kept that to that as well. So like with that one, if you want to elaborate on it, you just keep it to 50 words. Again, municipal district. We have Metropolitan, Cumra, or Dungarvan, Lismore. That is again for just for the department's stats and stuff, so we know what municipal districts each project is in. And again, where the project is going to be located, just in case if it's different to your registered address, it could be the local pictures, and so you can just again for mapping, just click on the map wherever the project's going to be. If it involves works, yes, no. There's extra questions if it does involve works, such as when you're going to start, so nothing can start before the department announces the successful candidates, but we expect that to be maybe Q2, end of Q2. So, but nothing can start before that. Just a start and an end date for your project. Our planning permissions in place. It just asks you to upload documents if they're applicable. You can just upload documents there. Project details then, is it phased or is it part of a phased development? Yes or no. If yes, then you just have to put in some detail there. Have you applied for funding from this project from any other source? Yeah, just give us some detail. And this is something that our climate action team have asked us. So have you considered the environment, sustainability, biodiversity, and/or reducing your carbon emissions as part of your project? So if you say yes, just to give some details. And then how much are you applying for? So this is grants of €1,000 or less, or grants of in excess of 1,000. So the amount being applied for then, is this the full or partial project cost? And then this year is just it's in line with national procurement guidelines. So contracts less than €5,000 can be on the basis of verbal or written quotes from one or more supplier. So if you get verbal quotes, it just maybe a Word document or something that documents what quotes you got, just then upload it there. You have to have a bank account or an account, bank, credit union, post office account in your own name. So you just need to upload a bank statement there for balance at the end of December 2025. And then, as I said, the maximum grant is likely not to exceed €5,000. So you have to give So you have to just put in some detail there where you're going to make up the shortfall. If you apply for €1,000 and as part of the grant you only get €800, you still have to carry out that project. So you need to be able to tell us there where you're going to make up the shortfall of €200. Whether it could be fundraising, it could be, funds that you already have, but you just have to tell us where that shortfall is going to be made up. All right. So that again, you have to just tell us how you're going to acknowledge the department, the contribution of the LEP to your project. And then, as I said, the LECP, you do need to acknowledge, or you have to tell us if it's over €1,000, what priority of the LECP that the grant will help to achieve. So here I have LECP 6.1. This is to support good physical and mental health. And then LECP 2, promote a network of open, accessible public facilities. Beneficiaries, then you just have to put in how many potential people would benefit from this project. And then, have you received funding from any other source grant in the last few years? If it was paid through the local authority, have you submitted your bank details previously? Do you receive funding from any other organisations? Then you'll get to, at the end, each of these, you have to declare that you've read and confirm, read and confirm that you've read all the terms and conditions, that you're tax compliant. It won't let you proceed unless you've ticked all 6 of those boxes. When you hit, then you just have to sign it. And then your role within the organisation and the date. So then just gives you a note there that once you submit your application, you receive an email requesting you to verify your signature. So just to make sure that you do that afterwards, because your application won't be complete unless you do that. When you submit, hit the submit button, then it should check and it'll verify and validate your application. So like with this, I haven't uploaded documentation about, so it'll tell you if you can actually click on some of it. So if you click OK there, it'll bring you back to those questions that you've missed maybe, or haven't uploaded documents, and then you can sort that out. Again, go to the very end, and then when you submit it, it'll make sure you've answered all the required questions before you submit your application. So I will just, as I said, you can just save and quit. That will save your application. And then when you log in on submit system again, you can go here to continue submitting your application, to proceed with the application. Okay, so I will just go back to oh yeah. So agree with that. Yeah. So that was a quick kind of overview of the application form. As I said in going through the application there, contracts for goods or services less than €5,000 can be awarded on the basis of verbal or written quotes from one or more competitive supplier. The best practice is to seek a minimum of 3 quotes by email, confirmed by email. Contracts then over 5,000 must have at least 3 written quotes from suppliers or service providers. So the application process, if you have any queries about the application form or require further information, the email address there, communitygrants@waterfordcouncil.ie, or the phone number 051 849 735. Okay. So the completed application forms must be submitted by 4 o'clock on Friday, the 27th of February. And just to make sure you have an adequate time to complete your application, because the deadline will be strictly adhered to, and incomplete or late applications will not be considered. It's shut down actually. The system, the submit form is actually closes at 4 o'clock. So even if you're in it, you won't actually get to complete your application. So you need to have that given plenty of time to get the application in well in advance of 4 o'clock. So after the deadline was passed, then an LCDC assessment committee will review and assess all the applications under the programme to ensure consistency with the LECP. The list of projects for funding, the recommended projects for funding, has to be with the department, by the 22nd of April 2026. And then the Minister for Rural and Community Development will announce the details of successful applicants in Q2 2026, so probably towards the end of Q2 2026. After that, then, once the Minister's made his announcement, the letters of offer will issue to successful applicants, and we'll also contact any unsuccessful applicants, just giving details of maybe why they weren't successful. You cannot commence your project or purchase equipment prior to the department announcing the list of successful applicants, and the grant is not paid in advance. It's only payable on submission of the required documentation outlined in the letter of offer. So bear with me here now. So next week, just bear with me. Next week there will be members of the community grants team in the library on Tuesday, February 10th from 11 to 1 in Central Library in Waterford, and Thursday, 12th of February in Dungarvan from 2 to 4. To answer any questions, or if anybody has any questions that they want answered, or just to run through the form or anything like that, we'll be there in those 2 branches next week. And that's it then. Thank you very much. So communitygrants@waterfordcouncil.ie again, if you have any questions or any queries about the grant, just drop us a line there and we'll answer them for you. I just have somebody asked, could they print their draft. So just bear with me there now, and we'll just. Mhm. So if you want to print your draft, you can just here beside. So on when you log in to submit, the three dots beside your draft, just drop that down. You can download a copy of the PDF. All right. So just download a copy of it, and then that will. So I'll just stop sharing there if anybody has any questions. Yeah.
Sorry, could I ask that you just go over the last few bits that you said nothing can be done until the grant and the money? And do we have to actually do the work and then send in the receipts or?
Yeah. So no grant won't be paid in advance. So you have to complete the works and submit your receipts to get the money back from the department. That's it. It's grant is not paid in advance. Um, it's set by the department. So you have to actually complete it, but you can't do any works or buy any equipment until after the department announces the successful applicants. Um,
Okay,
yeah. So once that happens, probably end of Q2, so maybe June, you'll get a letter of offer from ourselves here to say what you've been awarded and what it's awarded for. So if it could be for part of your application could be funded, and another part might not be. But you can't do anything until after the and successful grant applicants are announced. Once that you get that, then you can carry out the works or buy the equipment. You have to pay for them and then submit the receipts then to get the money back from the department.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Ger.
Yep.
Rita here.
Hey, Rita.
How are you?
Not too
Ger,
bad.
just wanted to find out there, you know, the way, say, like we wouldn't have a lot of surplus funding in our club. And I'm
Yep.
just wondering if we send in our application for the grant, we'll say I put in an application for 1,500 and I was only allocated 500. We would find it difficult to come up with the remaining 1,000 because we're already fundraising for a lot of local charities and open days and all that in our golf clubs. So I'm just wondering what you would recommend. Do you recommend we apply for less, or can we just purchase the amount that we've been allocated for?
So if you put in for a number of things in your application and it's not fully funded by the LEP, you still have to purchase whatever is approved under the application. So we could specify in the letter of offer that the grant is for the purchase of one element of the application, just if there is a number of elements.
Would we do that just for one element of it? And would we be eligible then maybe next year to apply for the remainder?
If you didn't have the funding to maybe cover everything, you might be better to just apply for one element and
Yeah, I think so.
and then and you could apply again next year then.
Yeah.
It's
And
just you are supposed to carry out whatever's approved by the department.
okay.
You're supposed
Yeah.
to carry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on number 16, where you have to give the alternative email address, I'm actually the alternative contact, but I put in my email address on it and I save it. And then if I go back in to move on further, progress on the application, the next day, my email address is gone. It doesn't.
Yeah, I
It's not
can.
registered. I have Phyllis Furlong as the contact, and then I'm the alternative. But it's not. It's not holding my email address for whatever reason. Number 16.
I'll raise that with tech support here in the council, Breda, and I'll get back to you about it. All right.
Yeah, and there was just one other then on the number 41 there. I just maybe with the wording of that, I'm struggling a bit.
The LECP.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can. If you want to reach out and I can talk to you more about that off the call. Then yeah, just about.
Okay.
If it's probably about with yourselves, it's probably increasing physical activity and improving mental health. That kind of.
Yeah. So
So
maybe I can liaise after the call with some of you.
yeah,
Would that be okay?
yeah. That's no problem
That's
at all.
lovely.
All
Thanks
right.
a million, Ger.
No problem.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Hi, Ger. I just have a quick question for you there. If the grant application relates to a repair work, or a refurbishment of an existing building,
Yep.
would an engineer's report be required, or would that be necessary to substantiate the claim?
Well, if you had something, I suppose, back up to say why the works were required, but
Okay.
yeah, it's more for small capital works. So I suppose, yeah, it's like under 5,000 is probably not going to be, yeah. But if you had something to back up the need for the works, you could
Yeah.
definitely include it as part of your support and documentation.
Okay.
But yeah.
Also, you said that typically the grant is awarded to disadvantaged areas. So what constitutes a disadvantaged area for this application?
Yeah, well, there's the Pobble Deprivation Index is on the Pobble website. That
Okay.
gives, every area has is kind of classified as affluent right down to very disadvantaged.
Okay.
So you can go onto the Pobble website and just look for the Pobble Deprivation Index. That'll tell you where the what your area is.
Okay.
It's probably going to be more important if the scheme is very oversubscribed, because within the LEP is supposed to be targeted at disadvantaged areas. So if the scheme is oversubscribed, then we will need to kind of focus more on the deprived area deprivation index, and that's where the mapping and all comes into it as well. Then we're able to map where the applications are. Oh, yeah.
Great. And one final question: Can more than one application come from one area? So, if, for example, we have a community hall, but we have different clubs who use the hall, so could different users make an application under this grant?
Will I answer that, sir? Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, the PPN. They can. They'll also have to have an original PPN number per application, but they can't apply for something that's in the hall, because only the community centre who runs the hall can apply for something for the hall. A group using the hall can't normally apply for something for the hall they're renting. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Sorry, Chair. Can I just jump in on something that comes up year to year? In regards to the maximum grant of €5,000.
Yeah.
There's not an awful lot of applications, even nationally, that get the 5,000. And just to be aware, I suppose, if you want to apply for the 5,000, just have it broken down into a couple of different elements. So you might have €1,000 to fix a door, €500 to fix something else, but don't have the whole project at €5,000, because you might only get 1,000, and you'll have to match fund the 4,000. Or more than likely, you'll end up giving it back. So I would say break down your project, apply for the 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, but break it down that you might receive one of the three elements or the four elements, that you're not just left giving back the money, that you can do something. It's just something that comes up constantly as well. So
yeah, I would definitely echo that sentiment, that if you can break down into different elements, so that if only part of your application is funded, if one element, it might be easier to make up the difference in a shortfall in one element than rather the overall application. Because like if you just applied for 5,000 and then you only get 1,000, it could be harder to. But if one element is funded through the LEP, we will specify in the letters of offer what is being, so if you can have one element funded by the LEP, it might be easier to make up any shortfall than like if you lump everything in together.
I just have a couple of things there. I'd like to ask you, Jerry, and Trish Maloney on behalf of the West Waterford Pony Club. So we don't have an address. We work in
Grant.
different
Are you
facilities.
collecting them?
So basically we could be in Carglass one day at a facility, we could be, it just moves around. So in previous applications I would just put down my own address. So like for your disadvantaged area, I don't know what way that works then. Do I put a pin somewhere in West Waterford and East Cork, which is what covers us really, but mainly West Waterford?
Well, with the Pony Club, like you could put some of your like one of the facilities that you use, like you have a.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Like if you're using the same field, as part of your
The
training.
main one, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, the main, yeah.
Yeah.
The department could come to visit this. So where like if you were buying equipment, it's where the equipment might be held. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And now I have another thing as well, is like we're hoping to try and do a bit of upcycling. Was it to the second-hand trailer is what we want to purchase from?
We saw that query coming in.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to you about that
Yeah.
after. If that's all right, Trish.
Yeah, that's
Saw that
okay.
query coming into the community grants emails. Just we want to double check that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Feasible. Yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
Jeff. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I just asked a question there. Would the installation of solar panels be allowed?
Yeah, so that could fall under improvements to reduce the carbon footprint of a facility. So yeah, if you were looking at installing solar panels on a building or anything, that could fall under it. Hi. You're on mute there.
Yeah, sorry. Gabriel here from First Port Waterford. We need to get our roof repaired on our den, and we were just wondering, you just said there that the whole elements of the project have to be done. Now, I mean, how would we break down like a roof, because we have got funding off you before to repair one part of it that was damaged there a couple of years ago. But we need the whole roof repaired now.
So to re-roof, I suppose you'd have to get quotes from.
Oh yeah, I understand all that.
So if the quotes came in at say 8,000.
8,000, yeah, we have one quote in already. Yeah.
Right. So if the quotes came in at €8,000, the maximum grant you're going to get from the LEP is likely to only be maximum is 5,000. So
which we probably wouldn't get that. We may not get that.
You may not get 5,000, but even as part, if you're applying for 5,000 under the LEP, you have to be able to say in your application where you're going to get the extra 3,000. And you have to be able to show that you can complete the project. So with something like that, if you had an €8,000 quote, you have to be able to show that you can make up the balance and complete the project. And because the project with like a requirement of the department will be that the project's completed no matter how much you get.
So basically, so basically we couldn't say, right, what else could we break it down on the application that to reslate it is X amount, get from the people who'll be giving us the quotes, to reslate is X amount, to do the felting is X amount, to do whatever else. I don't understand about the roof.
With something like a roof, I don't know if you could break it down into different elements, because the felting would be a requirement, and then you wouldn't get once you'd have it felted, you'd need to be able to tile it. So you'd still need to be able to complete the full project,
which would have to be back and front.
I'm assuming if the whole roof needs to be replaced.
Sorry, on the question of 3 quotations, would you be very strict on that, because it's very hard to get 3 quotations for comparatively small work?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
It is, yeah, very hard to get
The
quotation.
quotations, like it's so under 5,000, national procurement guidelines are for verbal or written quotations. So it can be from like one up to three quotations under 5,000. So it could be one quotation, but it's over 5,000 is required to be three written quotations. So we're keeping in line with the government national procurement guidelines. So they are linked out in the application as well. It'll link out to that. You can click on it and it'll just bring you to those. But under €5,000, it's up. It can be on the basis of verbal or written. As best practice, then is three quotations followed up or confirmed by an email. But like that's best practice.
Sorry, my line actually broke down when you were answering the previous question. Just back to the solar panels. That would be okay. That would be covered, would it?
It would, because it'd come under improvements to reduce the carbon footprint of a building. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Ger, can I just say something in regards to the quotations?
Yeah.
I suppose for people who are maybe buying equipment for €1,000 or something, it could be something that obviously you can get a quotation for a piece of a kitchener, but you can have like screenshot, can't you, or something from online. Like you wouldn't get quotations for say 3 laptops from a company or something, a laptop.
Yeah,
so you could just get a screenshot or just
screenshot
proof
or something for just proof that you've looked at. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an actual official quotation for a company as such.
No, but you need to have just kind of gone and got just
varied price.
Bid the prices and got the best value, I suppose, for the. Yeah.
Hi, Ger. Can I just ask? I know I wrote in there just in regards to say CCTV equipment. Would you put in, or is it just cover the equipment, or the only way to be installed? Like, could you put in a cover for that, or would it only cover the equipment itself?
It'd depend, I suppose, on so it's just the department just says CCTV equipment, so I suppose it would include the installation, but it's going to come back to the cost of it and like the maximum grant, and
no, that's fine. I was just wondering, like, if it was like it's inside of the 5,000, but I was just kind of there saying, it's the fact that just said actual, equipment. I was there saying, does that, can you put in installation?
I suppose like the CCTV equipment, you wouldn't be installing it yourself. So I suppose it's kind of implicit in it that it includes the installation of it, because you would need a specialist to install something like that, So there'd be no issue with that. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thanks, Ger.
All right. Anybody else then? Any questions or?
Yes, Ger,
if
I could.
Oh,
sorry,
Michael. Go ahead. Go on.
Yeah, can you hear me? You can?
Yep.
I'm not certain. Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. Okay. Ger, great presentation. Great questions. When we're putting in previous funding, it's like a bank statement at the moment. There's only about 6 spaces, and you want it back to 2018. I'm getting it hard to kind of put them all in. And by the way, it's not that we got a huge amount of money, but it's 750 here and 500 here, and which we're all very, very grateful for.
In that case, Michael, just put in the most recent. So maybe like 2024. 2025.
You're a star, Ger. That's exactly
because you're not going to come back to 2018. But in the most recent, and because we can't have it is locked down to about 6, I think, on the on the physical application. We've about 6 on the online application.
Yeah, yours, Mike.
I'm glad somebody is making sense, because the other thing is, just purely from an organization's point of view, it's all on record anyway for the previous years.
Yeah.
And we're only repeating the dose every year, and you're getting a bigger dose to listen to or to read. So that's one question. Now I have another question, like the lady doing the roofs. we're in a very old building here in Dungarvan, the VC. By the way, it's the Dungarvan main shed. And we want to clad the outside of the building because the prefabs were before my time nearly, and I'm 70. And it's time to get it wrapped. But to make a long story short, could we actually, we know now at this stage that it's normally, the grant is normally about 2,000 realistically. We could match it with 2 more. That's the scenario we're on. And then there's a certain, I know exactly how much it's going to cost. So we're talking about, we have 4 corners, 4 sides. Could we start with just one side? And
You could say it was
a
part of a
gable
solution
end, like
development.
along the
So,
side
like,
and the
yeah,
gable
so
end.
you could put it as phase. So phase
Yeah,
1 was the
yeah,
front of the building,
yeah.
something like that. Whereas cladding, I suppose the roof was a little bit different because you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
do elements of a roof. But
Yeah.
but like like you could phase. So phase 1 could be clad the front of the building, and phase 2
That's
could
it.
be clad the rest of it.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is doing a gable end and a side for
Yeah,
phase
and
1.
anywhere like you will have a set time as well to get these works done. So like
Yeah.
realistically, you're probably going to find out at the start of June that you've got the grant, and you will probably have to have it completed by end of September, start of October to get your receipts in.
Mm.
So it's the timing element as well. As you just have to be aware of that you will need to have this completed by probably mid-October to get your
Oh yeah,
receipts.
that's no problem. I'd have done a month because we have somebody who's ready to go on that, and but without hogging it too much. If we didn't get, we just say we get 1,000 of a grant,
Yeah.
and we just do the gable end, and we start as that's the first side to be finish because it's the most vulnerable. If we don't do the side, then does that mean that we'll be disallowed for other years?
Well, if the grant specifies that it's to clad the front and one gable end, then you have to do that.
Yeah, but you did say a while ago, I'm now suggesting, could we just put in the gable end will cost so much?
Yeah,
The side will cost so much.
Yeah,
and
you
we
could,
have
and we
two
could,
different.
break it down into different elements
That's the job. That's
within
grand.
the application, and then if one element of the grant is approved and another element's not, at least then you've more chance of being able to complete it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll be going for other years after that. That's just the first phase.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, phase it that way, yeah.
But I'll actually put in 4 phases then, if that's the case, because
in that case, it might be just better to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great. By the way, it's getting easier every year to fill up these forms. And I just the penny dropped only last night. Down at the bottom of the screen when we're filling it in, there is a word count. I actually didn't see the word count until last night, but it's brilliant. This is one of the best application forms we have been doing. Thank you.
We've been refining it now for a couple of years, so yeah.
They're brilliant. You're doing great. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Joe there has his hand up. They have their hand
Hello.
up there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Support in Waterford Fund and the LEP are 2 different funds, and I'll probably come back over stuff. So that's correct, is it?
Yeah, Support in Waterford is Waterford City and County Council's own fund, and the Local Enhancement Programme is the Department of Community Development and the Gaeltacht's fund. So yeah, they're both separate funds.
Okay, and the question then I have for you is when you're finished putting in your application, there's obviously a deadline, but I got a couple of emails back from the Support in Waterford one about redoing a signature. But
yeah, as I said, like during the presentation, you will get an email after you've submitted your form to verify your signature. So you just have to go in and click on that link in the email to verify that you're and that then once you've done that, your application is complete.
So what I know it's slightly off topic because this meeting now and telling me that is grand, but for the previous one, I didn't realize that email verification came and I verified after the date. Will that affect your application? And
no,
it shouldn't. No, that's good.
That shouldn't affect your application for Support in Waterford. No,
yeah,
but
Okay,
the most important thing is to just do it for the LEP. Just do it in advance. Yeah.
Yeah, and can I use? I asked the question in the chat, but they seem to be disappearing. I had to jump off as well. Sorry if in case anyone answered it. But can this fund be used for lighting and pavements around the exterior of where you're living? So you know it.
Yeah. So public space improvements, public realm improvements that can be used, like tidy towns and stuff like that could maybe apply for works in parks or anything like that. Yeah, it can be used for public realm improvements, streetscape and stuff like that.
And like pedestrian crossing, would that fit into it?
That would be more the roads department to be responsible for that rather than like community groups. So yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, okay, that's grand. Thank you.
All right. Lisa Orphan, you've your net.
So I'm from Dungarvan Rugby Club. I just wanted to find out, could we use some of the funding for a car park improvements? So like curbing and signage and things like that.
Yeah, so if it's a community facility, yeah, you could use it for, as I said, streetscape and public realm works, stuff like that is included, like, yeah. So
and then on the actual application where it said the funding, there was a section to say partial funding. So then do I just indicate that it's partial funding? Do I still have to say what the entire project will cost, or just the piece that I'm asking for?
You have to show, like, so you would have to show the funding, like, that you have. If you're applying for €5,000 out of a €10,000 cost project, you have to show where that extra €5,000 is coming from. The project has to be completed, so you have to be able to show that you will spend €10,000 on a project if that's the overall cost.
Yeah. Even if it's in phases, because so we wanted to sort of curbing, and then in say a year or two's time actually do the tarmac on top, which is the next step. We don't want to do that step right now.
I would just apply for the curbing then.
Just the curbing. Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
If
Hey, Jared, Paul here. I just have a quick question. Is this the first year of 5K, or has it been other years 5K granted?
No, it's been capped at 5,000 for a few years now. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that the comms that come out, like say end of second quarter in previous years, has there been like much in Waterford around, over the €1,000 mark, or is it typically 800 or so? I'm trying to think back to email announcements.
No, there will be over. Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's about 30%. The department requests about 30% for under €1,000 projects, but it depends on what the applications come in, and it's changes year on year.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. Thanks.
It's unlike the support in Waterford, Jerry, isn't it? The majority would be over 1,000, unless you ask for less than 1,000.
Yeah.
But there would be very few that would hit the 5,000 mark. So that's why they'd encourage just a breakdown.
The way support in Waterford is kind of a set amount that each group gets the exact same. It's not like that with LEP. It very much is what you've applied for, and trying to get the highest benefit from, it's a relatively small enough fund for the amount of people that actually apply.
Yeah.
There was like 500 applications last year or something. So it's like, it will be heavily oversubscribed. So it's just to kind of, we have to try and spread it as much as we can around to the highest benefit then for everybody.
Yeah, understood. No, thanks.
All right. Anybody else for any questions?
Sure, can I just emphasize the signature part? Because I know a lot of people get caught on that. So when you sign the signature, you do get an email actually where you can click back in and see your application. But if you're unsure if your application has gone through, go back in to submit, log in, and you'll be able to see your submission there anyway. And if you can't see it, you haven't gotten the signature, just in case that signature has gone to your spam or something. But if you think you've done your submission, go back in and log into your submit again and just double check that it's in there. You should be able to download it in an application form for the finished product.
Yeah, it will, as a shoulder, it'll show, like, you can download your application. It'll say complete, where it says draft on the one I was showing earlier on, where it said draft, it will show a completed application there. You can download that completed application, but it's just to make sure that you do go into your emails. So the email that you've registered on submit and just verified your signature, because your application is not fully completed until you've verified that that's your signature. So yeah.
Sorry, could I ask again? Do you know when you were saying the different conditions that you can apply for the 5,000 grant under, you went in and you said there was one 6.2 and it was mental health or something. Where do we go to look for that? Sorry, I didn't write it down.
Yeah, so it's on waterfordcouncil.ie. It's the local economic and community plan. It's under documents. Bear with me there. I'll try share the screen and I'll show you exactly where it is.
Okay, yeah.
No, you can see that, can you? Yeah. No. So you just go into Waterford Council. Here, let me just go to that. So that's waterfordcouncil.ie/LEP, which is where your application form will be. But here at the top of the screen, you have documents.
Documents, yeah.
And that is linked out, I think, in the application form anyway. But if you scroll down here to plans, reports, and strategies, sorry, there you go. And down here under corporate plans, corporate plans and policies, it's the local economic and community plan 2029.
23 to 29. Okay, thanks very much.
All right, and I'll just show you there now while I'm
There, I've just linked the LCP plan there on the chat. And the Pobble Index as well. There's a link there. But you know what? We'll send it out with the recording as well.
Okay, thanks very much.
And the list of your PPN numbers as well, if you don't have them.
I'll just show you here now. There's your community goals, high level goal, livability and quality of life. And high level goal 6, health and well-being. So as I was saying earlier on, 6.1, support good physical, mental health, enabling improved standard of living. This is some of the implementing partners and structures. This is like a roadmap for like local stakeholders to use. But here you go. Promote a network of open, accessible public facilities, civic spaces, including libraries and wellbeing hubs. Like these here are your kind of objectives, and then these are some of the actions that some of the local stakeholders are going to be involved in. But like a lot of say sports clubs could come in under 6.1, support good physical and mental health. So that would be one of the ones that a sports club could use then to if they were applying for over €1,000. Just and how it can benefit, what their project, how their project would benefit, any good physical and mental health. Okay, but as I said, that's under documents on the council's website, waterfordcouncil.ie. All right.
I have one last question, Ger. One or two have asked about insurance. Insurance isn't covered on the LEP. No.
Paying for insurance?
Yeah, for group insurance.
No, it's
capital, you see. Yeah.
It's capital only, no current this year. There's no, last year there was a current strand.
Yeah, for bills and stuff, yeah.
But this year there is no current expenditure allowed. It's all capital. So purchase of equipment, improvement of facilities, public realm works, stuff like that, but no current. So no rent, no insurance.
Someone's asked there, what would the most likely grant a residents association could receive funding for? It would depend on what you're asking for, I suppose.
Depends on what.
It doesn't really matter that you're a resident group or a soccer group or.
No, it depends on
what
they're
you're
applying
asking for.
and and they'll
Again, just think around the 1,000, 1,500 maybe, or break down your
break down your
costings.
like
So you,
all applications will be like they'll all be assessed by assessment group under the LCDC. So it'll all depend on what comes in. But every valid application received will be assessed. Yeah. So
can I ask a quick one there, Jeremy? I'm sorry I was late coming on the call, and forgive me if it's already been covered. But in relation to actual sports equipment, is that acceptable?
to purchase sports equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, no matter.
just again, Michael, around the costings, if you're applying for €5,000 worth of equipment, break it down so that if you only got 1,000, that you could buy something at least,
If it was in the region of something like 1,000, would you have to?
That's fine.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Like you won't get quotes for €1,000, like you won't physically get quotes, but you can get, you go online to a shop and you can see how much it is, like, and probably Goalpost Ireland or something screenshot. You don't need physical, quotations from companies. You don't be emailing them over and back unless it's over the 5,000.
That's great. Thank you.
There's one more there, Chair. Ride-on lawnmowers be covered.
I think Yvonne is answering that there now in the chat.
The insurance wouldn't be, because that's
the insurance
it's a motor insurance actually.
Purchase of a lawnmower would be, but not insurance.
No, the motor insurance as well. So.
Yeah, but the purchase of a lawnmower would be covered and would be eligible for funding under the LEP.
Iris, another one, Noel, the other one, just in relation to the definition of disadvantage. I know I emailed Walter this, and maybe he emailed me back. But when we talk about disadvantage, it's not literally talking about the PUBL sort of definition. It's okay, like we're looking at different groups like, I don't know, the elderly, or that fits into the category of applying for under disadvantage.
With the disadvantage, it is kind of looking at the PUBL deprivation index. So it's to help areas of the county that maybe need a little bit of extra funding or whatever. So like affluent areas, if the scheme is heavily oversubscribed, and it may come down to like giving funding to areas classes like highly deprived, rather than affluent. Under the
area where I'm in now, it's marginally above on that definition.
Okay.
Is marginally above within the? Is it worth making
every application will be considered? So like, it's not that like, it's just, it is part of like the assessment. It will be looking at like where the projects are. So and if it is oversubscribed, then maybe some like affluent, as they're classed under the deprivation index, might miss out on full funding, or might not get any funding. But it's just they'll all be assessed as part of the so like, just because it's marginally above doesn't mean that you shouldn't apply. Put in the application and it'll be assessed, and then
That's great. Thanks very much.
All right. Anybody else then, or we?
Can I just ask, Chair? Hi, it's Liz from the Women's Centre. Hiya. Can I just ask around the time frame? I suppose the idea I'm thinking of putting in is around just there's like a damp proof seal you can put on the outside of the building, like the external of the building. Right. But if the grant is approved, hypothetically, if it's approved in June, it has to be done in November. You'd really want to line up your builder or whoever in anticipation of that, because obviously the scarcity of getting builders. So the deadline is definitely probably October, November. There's no room for extension if you're struggling to get somebody to do it.
Well, so they're all like, all the deadlines are set by the department. So the deadline for us getting our list of recommended projects has already been pushed back from the 3rd of April to the 22nd of April. which means it pushes back when the minister is going to announce. So it is probably going to be the start of June. They say Q2 2026. So it's probably going to be the end of that, and when the minister makes his announcement, that's when you will get notified then if your project's been successful, and then you can only carry out. The department, we give a deadline of kind of end of October to get your receipts in, but there's a little bit of leeway there if you did need that little bit of extra, like reach out to us, but everything has to be in and drawn down by the end of the year, like, so, because so it
that's great. I'm just thinking because it's an outside job.
The weather at the moment and
consideration
you
of the
never
weather.
know. But
thanks,
like once the departments, like, everything has to be paid in 2026. So like but if you needed a little bit of extent of room past the deadline we've set, there is a little bit of leeway, but not much. But you could reach out to us if it was looking like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Chair. Very informative.
Thank you. Thank you to the PPN for
Thanks to everyone.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Cheers. Thank you.
Best of luck, everyone.
Bye.
Well done, lads. Brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, Muriel.
Thank you.
And Walter and the lads.